Everyone. I'm not going to make a very long introduction here, but I want you to welcome Desiree Lemieux, a teacher in Sunrise School Division. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello everyone, welcome. I'm going to be talking today about improving student and teacher learning in the classroom, and I'm going to be showing you examples of things that I do in my classroom related to technology. I completed my B.Ed program at U of W in 2008, and Heather Hunter was one of my professors, so that's how we connected, and that's why I'm here today. She asked me to come and present. And I've taught for 5 years at École Beaux-Arts Early Years School in Sunrise School Division, and that's the only place that I've taught, and I like it very much there. We have a pretty good budget for ICT, so we're able to do a lot of things. And right now I'm teaching grade 4 French immersion, but I have also taught grade 5, both French immersion and English, so I am an early years teacher. And I just recently got promoted to ICT committee team leader, which was just yesterday, so now I've got a whole host of things that I'll be doing, ranging from all kinds of things. I'll be a liaison between all of the teachers at my school and our divisional ICT committee. If there's any problems with their computers or their smart boards, printers, anything they can't access online, I'll be in charge of helping them to try and fix it, and if I can't, getting a hold of the right people to help get that going for them. So I'll get right into how I use technology in my classroom. Every classroom in my school has a smart board. The smart board, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, looks exactly like this screen up here. It has a projector. The difference is that it's interactive. So students, I have an example here. When students come into my classroom, they sign in on the smart board. So attendance is technology related. They come in, they move. Right now we've got a snowflake theme. So going with early years, it's a lot of thematic types of things that I do. And so they move their snowflake over, and that means that they're here. So that's how we start the day. We use the whiteboard for all kinds of things. It's good for a projector. It's attached to a computer like this one is here. So anything we want to look up on the internet, it automatically projects it into the classroom. So we can all look at the weather together, graph the weather together. Anytime a student has a question and I don't know the answer, well, there's Google. So we look that up, and we can find out answers pretty quickly. It's also an interactive whiteboard, like I mentioned, and I'll show some of the activities that I do in my classroom with the whiteboard, but it's a pretty amazing tool. It allows you to draw on it with pens, write on it with pens, so instead of the whiteboard that we had, or the chalkboard of years past, it's now interactive. So anything that's written can be saved. You can take pictures of the smartboard on the smartboard. You can move things around on the smartboard, and it's a very good interactive tool. It plays music. It does all kinds of things. I have 2 computers in my classroom, and we use those every single day for a variety of things, typing and research and class projects. Blogging, my class does blogging, so we have our own website that's connected to our Sunrise School Division homepage, school homepage, and we do a lot of work on the computers. A lot of word processing. Students in the early years, we follow the writer's workshop model. So students do have to start by writing things out by hand, and then we move to word processing afterward. A concern in the early years is that students should be learning how to print before they're learning how to type, and before they're learning how to text and those types of things. So we do make sure that they are having a pen to paper or pencil to paper activities as well as typing, so that they learn those basic skills as well. So I'm relatively new to the Apple world. Last year I got my first iPhone, and I didn't get an iPad until last March. So I'm sort of new to the Apple world, but I've learned a lot in that time. And it doesn't take long to get on board with technology. So I've got a class iPod in my classroom, so we listen to music all the time on a dock. CDs are a thing of the past. We either stream music from YouTube or we listen to it on the iPod every day, so that's used. We also use my own personal iPhone to take video and pictures and record reading. We use it as a timer a lot of the time for oral presentations and as well for research. The wireless network on my phone through MTS is a lot faster than the internet at the school, so that's why I use it a lot as a picture taking tool or a video taking tool. I can just take a picture of what the students are doing and email it to myself, or email it to parents, or email it to the blog, or whatever we're wanting to do with the pictures or video, and it's a really great tool in the classroom. I have an iPad, so I use that during math, ELA, and Français instruction, and I recently went to a technology and math conference in Las Vegas, and they showed how to project from your iPad onto the smartboard. And so you can take your iPad all around the classroom and students can do whatever they're doing on the iPad, whether it's writing down an answer or using an app, and that displays on the smartboard for the whole class to see. So that's a really neat app that I've used, and it's free, so that's also really good. And my school has actually just purchased a class set of iPads. So those will be on a cart that we're able to use in every classroom. And since now I'm team leader, I get to set those up next week. So very excited about that, because then I get to pick all the apps that I would like to use. So that's great. So for ELA, I use these apps in particular. They're ones that I really enjoy, and because we didn't have apps at the school before, they're just apps that I've downloaded onto my own personal iPad, and these ones I like, 300 plus sight words. These ones are more geared toward early years students. Fridge Magnet, Spelling Magic, Doodle Buddy, Story Chimes, iDiary, they're all apps that work with writing and reading. So we don't have iPads in our classroom all day long. Students are reading, they are writing with books, with paper, with pencils, but we do like to add in technology as much as we can. We don't have any limits on how much technology we use in the day. It's not a type of situation where in high schools in our division they are having bring your own device to classrooms, and I know that's becoming more popular in the province. So they've got, in the high school, they have their iPad or their iPod or their computer with them, their laptop, all day long in their classrooms, but we don't have that at the elementary level yet. We do have sometimes bring your own device days where students can bring in their iPod or their iPad, and it's more just sort of explore time or playtime on their devices. Most students in my class have some type of electronic device, either a tablet or an iPad or an iPod, so they are quite technologically aware. They're very savvy about the different types of technology out there, and they teach me all the time. Just the other day we were doing an activity and a boy in my class said, "There's an easier way to do that." And I said, "Oh, okay, what is it?" And so he said, "Well, if you just do this, then it comes up right away." And I said, "Oh, great." And he's 9, so that's great that he helped me out, and they're always telling me new things to do and how to do it, and so it's really collaboration with the kids in my class. So here's some of the projects that I do with my grade 4 students. Pinterest is an online site that is excellent for all kinds of things. There's ideas all over the place about how to do a number of things. And I use Pinterest with my students to learn about themselves. So we start the year with a autobiography unit. So we go into Pinterest and they get to make a pin board. So each one of these up there are pin boards that these students have created all about themselves. So they go in and they research all the things that they like, and then they save them onto the pin boards. This stays on Pinterest forever until it's deleted. So even when students move on from my class, they can still access it and change what they're doing in it. I always create a classroom account for students to use. I don't allow them to go in and create their own accounts because you do need to be at least 14 years of age usually for these types of sites. So I create a classroom account, and then the students can log in under my name to create what they would like. So they really enjoyed this project. Pinterest is a wonderful tool for all teachers. There's all kinds of ideas on there, all kinds of lesson ideas, all kinds of activities to do with students. So this is just one way that I've used Pinterest. Blogging has been something that's become more popular in the last few years. I have a classroom blog, so the first one here is my class blog, and I use this for communication. So we post on it, we try to post on it at least once a week. We're hoping to get daily blogging going on, but we've got that as a communication tool for parents mostly. They sign up and they take a look at what's going on in our classroom. We can let them know what we're doing during the day. The last post I have on there is about the snow day we had Monday. So school was closed because it was too cold, so I put an updated post on there about homework. So it's got all their daily activities, where the students are during the day, all their homework, upcoming events, what we're doing in class, and it's a great tool to help parents see what's happening in the classroom. And it's actually, you can link to it from our division homepage, so anybody in the division who wants to take a look at what we're doing during the day, they can go there and see what we're doing. The one on the right is a KidBlog site. So I use KidBlog as my students' portfolio. So instead of doing the paper portfolio that we used to do, we do an online portfolio. So every child in my class has their own blog, and they post pictures to it of their work, and they post their work on there. So when parents come in for parent-teacher nights, then the students log in and show them what they've been doing online. So as a slideshow format, or they've also done it in a video format as well. So that's something new that I've just started this year. And these sites are private, the student ones, so you can't access it unless you are a member of the classroom site. So I have to give parents permission to go on there. So that's why we can post pictures on there. There isn't any danger of people coming in and seeing what we're doing in the classroom, because it is a private site. So I like that one a lot. And there's a neat map on the side there that shows the kids who's been visiting our site. So we've had a few from British Columbia and some other places in Manitoba, and they're very excited that people are checking out what they're doing in class. I opened a Twitter account for my classroom, and that's another one that you have to be a certain age to join, so it is a classroom account. I'm not sure if people are very familiar with Twitter, but it's basically a forum for people to communicate with each other. So again, this site is private. I don't allow the students to follow anybody else. I don't allow them to read what other posts there are out in Twitter universe, but parents can get automatic updates to our tweets. So whatever is happening in class, we can let parents know automatically. And it's a little bit better than the blog, because the blog doesn't update parents immediately. Twitter does go right to their phone and lets them know if we've updated anything. So my last tweet was, our Charlie and the Chocolate Factory party is coming up in February. Stay tuned for more info. So just little updates for parents to stay tuned to what we're doing. There's a lot of math sites out there. I like these ones a lot. Huda Math is a great one for playing math games. Greg Tang Math has a lot of math activities on it. Glencoe Manipulatives is a great site for the smartboard, because students can come up and use the manipulatives on the smartboard. So they do have time to work with physical concrete manipulatives when they are working with math, but they do enjoy having the manipulatives on the smartboard as well, so we can do it as whole class and see what they're doing. The whole class can see what one student is doing. And classtools.net is a great one. That one has a lot of activities for the classroom, not just math, but all curriculum areas. AirPlay is an iPad app that is a mirror for what is happening on the iPad. So when I bring my iPad into class, I have the students do all kinds of activities on my iPad, and it can project onto the smartboard, because it's the iPad mirror AirPlay mirrors what's happening on the app, so everybody can see what's going on. AirSketch allows you to interact. That's the one that I was talking about, allows you to interact on your iPad, and it projects onto the smartboard. So that's another neat one for whole class. And then the last two, Splash Math is an app that I use, and TammyWorcester.com. She's a wonderful math educator, and she has all kinds of ideas, technology related, about how to get kids interested in math online. So these are some of the Smartboard math routines that we do at our school, and these ones are provided by Alan Stevenson. He's one of the math team leaders at our school, and divisionally he's given a lot of PDs. So on the Smartboard you can move all of these different tiles, so counting how many school days we've had, you move a different tile into the slot and it keeps track of how many days, so it's a nice visual for students. This one is patterning, so on the Smartboard every day's pattern changes and that's projected up there, which saves a lot of time. Instead of having to write it on the whiteboard, it's already loaded onto your computer. You just need to change the pattern and it's up there for when the kids come in the morning and they get right to work on the patterns. And then you can have a student come up to the Smartboard and fill in the pattern so the kids in the class can see the answer. This one is making money. So Smart Notebook has all kinds of different tools. One of them is Infinite Cloner, which means you can make an image. So in this case it would be the money at the bottom. So that's cloned, so whenever the kids go up and move it, they can move as many as they want. There's no limit to it. And then they have to make the money on the 2 pigs to show how much money there is in the bank. And then this is an activity that we do called What's My Value? So each letter has a value and then students have to make up words and try and figure out their value. So they use their names and they use all different kinds of things. They try to find the biggest word that they can, the highest value and that type of thing. So they really enjoy this one as well. For social studies and science, I use Smart Notebook a lot. There is a gallery of items that people have posted there that you can look and research and find, and there's all kinds of images and activities that students like to do on the Smartboard. History Tools is a great site. Stack the Countries, One Globe Kids, these are all sites and apps that are free. Pocket Universe Astronomy is something new that students like to use. Some of them have downloaded that onto their own devices, and what it is you can point your iPhone or iPad up at the sky and it tells you the constellations that you're looking at. So it's very, very neat for teaching astronomy. Dinopedia, everything you want to know about dinosaurs. The kids love that one. And Britannica Kids Volcanoes, and it has all kinds of interactive displays of volcanoes. So my students really, really enjoy that. That goes well with all kinds of science curriculum. Prezi is another site that I use for presentations. This one is one that has been more geared towards high school university students in the past. And I just found out about this site a few years ago. I know that a lot of university students use Prezi as a way to present instead of PowerPoint. It's more interactive. But these are Prezis that my grade 5 students did last year. So I've come to realize that anything is adaptable for any age. So you can use this in university. You can also use it in the early years. I've just started introducing Prezi to my grade 4 students. So I'm trying to see how young I can go with this and see if they're able to do it. So Prezi is a fantastic way to present information. So the one on the top is all about mushrooms. So it skips from one bubble to the next, sort of like a rock skipping over the water. And another student chose on the bottom to have a tree, and it's sort of going through time through the African mammals. And on the right, there's a video that the student embedded from YouTube right into their presentation. So I didn't teach this student how to embed the video into her Prezi. She figured that out on her own. So usually when I go into the computer lab, I institute a no help for 10 minutes rule, and students have to go in and they have to follow the instructions I've given them, and they need to figure it out on their own. They're not allowed to ask for help for 10 minutes. And I've found that has amazing results. Students are really good at figuring things out for themselves, technology-wise. They're used to exploring on their own devices. They're used to exploring at home. And if you give them the chance to explore in school as well, they're able to do a lot of amazing things. So this is one example of something that a student taught me how to do that I didn't know how to do prior to her coming in and figuring that out for herself. So it's really great. Photo Story and PowerPoint are both really great ways for students to present their work. I use both of those for portfolio nights. So students create a photo story, all pictures. You can add in some captions as well, or a PowerPoint to show parents their work. And this is one example of a PowerPoint that one of my students did on African animals. So she figured out on her own how to save pictures, how to twist and turn them, how to format them, how to change all the colors in the writing for her titles. So they've got an amazing an amazing sense of how to find things and how to change things on computers and all kinds of devices. We still have at my school ICT or computer time that's allocated. Because it's an earlier school, we have one computer lab, and I believe once the iPads are in circulation, this will change a little bit. We'll have access to computers all the time, class sets of them, so all of our curriculum will be injected with more technology because we'll have a traveling set of iPads. But we do have ICT and computer time, and these are some of the sites that I go to with my students. I learned about these at a technology conference called BITE Conference. It takes place in Nipoa every year, and it was a high school teacher that was explaining all of these different apps and different sites, and so I've gone to these with my grade 4 students, a lot of them, and they can be adapted for younger grades and older grades as well. So Glogster is a poster making site, so kids can make posters, sort of like Pinterest. Audacity, kids get to record their own voices, so they can make stories or read stories, and they can hear themselves reading. Pivot Stickman is an interesting little animation site. You can make little stick people, and you can make them do different things, and it's really great for animation, for starting to get kids into animation. Windows Movie Maker is a really great tool, and it makes movies and pictures and slideshows and all kinds of different things. I have my students working on that right now. They're doing an oral presentation of French skit. So they're going to be making movies from Movie Maker and then posting them onto their blogs to show their parents at Portfolio Night. Animoto is another great site for creating videos, for creating short films. And it's free if you want to create videos that are 30 seconds or less, which is great because students can put in a clip about something they're doing. Maybe it's a science experiment. We did volcanoes last year, so students created volcanoes and then they got to erupt them. So filming those and then putting them in a video with Animoto with all kinds of effects was really neat for them. Comic Life is a great site. You can create your own comics. So it has, just like comics that you can pick up and read, it creates those. And students really like those because a lot of them are concerned that they're not good drawers, they're not good artists, and so Comic Life allows them to create stories and not get dragged down by having to think about how to create what a person looks like in action flying off of a skateboard or whatever they're trying to make. Comic Life does that for them, so they get to just be creative with their writing without having to worry about what am I going to draw to go with this. Green Screen by Doink is a great app. It creates a green screen, so like you see on a weather channel, and it's got the map in the background, so students can create whatever green screen they want for their videos. So if they're creating a story about a monster on some kind of planet or an alien, you can create a green screen that has the planet and the aliens in the background. So that makes it very exciting for them. That is one that you can link with an iPad. So if they take the video on the iPad, they can upload it to green screen, and it puts a lot of effects into their videos. Storybird is another great site. It takes art that people have already created, and students can create a story with it, and then they write words that go along with it. So, and all of these are great for high school and elementary students. So this brings me to an idea that I've come up with to help enhance teacher learning. And I was just speaking with Frontier, and they've actually let me know that they're interested in taking this on, so that's great news. And I'll just switch over to that. So this has been a project in the works for the last 3 years, and what it is a website idea that I've come up with for teachers to be able to collaborate and share units and lesson plans and ideas and resources and all those types of things in one area. There is nothing Manitoba-based currently that has these ideas or these capabilities. I've just recently joined MAPLE Professional Learning Forum, and that's something new that the government has come out with, the Department of Education. And what it is a collaboration site. So students or teachers can log in and connect with each other throughout Manitoba, and it's Manitoba-based, so only Manitoba educators can log in there. But it has limitations, and it's mostly a collaboration website, whereas my idea is more geared towards sharing of units and lesson plans and having a library for that. So I'll just scroll through that to show you what I've come up with. And these are just the templates. So basically you would sign up and then it would come to a login home. So you can create unit and lesson plans. You can search unit and lesson plans that are already there. You can look at different methods of assessment, and you can also find and donate teaching resources. We've had a few teachers at my school retire, and they've got all of these resources that are just have been collected over the years, and they don't know what to do with them. They don't know where to bring them. They don't know what to do with them. And so I thought that maybe having a forum for teachers who are retiring or teachers who are switching grades to give away their resources to teachers who are maybe coming into a certain grade that need some place to start, it would be a great way to connect. It would also allow teachers to chat with each other and collaborate. Teachers in the same division who maybe have never met or spoken or interacted before could meet that way. And then it also has links to classroom, school, and division blogs and wikis. It also has a portion that is planning software. A lot of teachers spend a lot of time planning and trying to get their day books looking professional, and right now currently you have to print all of your day plans out if you don't purchase one, but you still have to date them by hand, which is something that takes a lot of time. And if you've happened to skip over a day by accident, then you've got to redo your entire plan according to what the area that you made a mistake in. So the software idea that I came up with does have capabilities to generate lesson and unit plans as well as day planners automatically for teachers, so they don't have to go in and date and label every single page. There's nothing out there that exists like this right now for Canadian teachers. There is an American software plan that allows you to create lesson plans and day planner pages, but it's American based, so it only has American holidays. It doesn't have any Canadian holidays, so if you're trying to make a day planner, a year planner, it only follows American holidays. So there's nothing Canadian based that does this yet. And all the teachers that I've spoken to have said that they wish that this would come out because it would save them a lot of time having to go through and label everything. So these are some of the templates that it would automatically create for you. So it would create a 5-day cycle plan for students. This one's just based on a 5-day cycle. So it would generate all of these templates for teachers, so you don't have to create them yourself. I've gone in, I've spent hours creating templates and spreadsheets to try and make unit plans and lesson plans. And every year you have to do it differently because maybe you're not teaching the same things or something has changed in the timetable, so you're having to do that every single year, whereas this would automatically generate it for you. You wouldn't have to spend that kind of time.
And do you have a beta that people can see at this point?
I don't, no. I've just been trying to look for somebody that would be willing to take this on. I did have a software developer in the US looking at this software, but of course they already have that for the United States, so they don't need something else that would have been in competition with the other software that's out there, so they're not interested in taking it on. So I am looking for a Canadian company to take on the software. It's got all kinds of things, plans per week, plans per day, plans per year, month, every subject. And then it would print out lesson plans for every day, so you would have your lesson and your goal, outcome, materials assessment. All of the red buttons are interactive, so if you were to click on them, you could find lessons, plans, handouts, rubrics, all kinds of things for whatever subject that you're teaching. So if somebody is starting to teach grade 5, they have nothing on weather, they could go into this website, search in grade 5 weather lesson plans, and then these would come up. And the idea is that it's all Manitoba based. There is Pinterest, there is Teachers Pay Teachers, there is search engines on the internet that you can look up, but none of them are Manitoba based. Ontario has a similar idea. You can find unit and lesson plans on their government website. Our government website currently has the curriculum documents, which are the Black Line Masters and the information, but it doesn't have lesson plans that teachers have created in Manitoba. And in this day and age, with all the technology that we have, I'm of the mindset that if you are coming into a new grade and you're teaching something new, you shouldn't have to start at zero. There are enough teachers out there and enough information out there that you should be able to at least find a starting point. And that's sort of where this came out of when I switched grades in my first few years, and I started from zero, and I didn't know, where to find information and who to talk to. And there were other teachers in my school that were teaching the same grade level, but to have to go through all their binders and try and figure out what works, this is a lot easier, and it's more up to date and more technologically friendly for people to find things easily. It also would allow teachers to rate each lesson in 5 categories. So it would have these 5 factors at the top there. So teachers would be able to give a certain star or a certain rating based on whether or not it follows curriculum, the lesson follows curriculum. Does it engage students? Is it easy to implement? Cost availability of materials and assessment options. So basically you could find lessons that you think will be good for your classroom based on the ratings from Manitoba teachers. And then it would also have ability to accept smart notebook lessons, apps, and Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. And also, I thought of French and Spanish immersion versions, of course, because I teach French immersion. So to have resources in French online, that is a constant struggle. There's a very, very limited amount that is available for French immersion specifically. A lot of it is available for core French, but to find French immersion resources is very, very difficult. Even in Smart Notebook in the gallery, they don't have a lot of French activities, and even on the government website for the Blackline Masters and all the information that's there, the English documents are plentiful. There's a lot of it. The French documents, not so much. So as French teachers, we're having to go in and translate all of the English documents, which takes hours and hours to do. So we believe as French immersion teachers that students in the French immersion program should have the same quality of education as students in the English program, and that's not happening right now, unfortunately. So this site would allow French immersion teachers to connect in Manitoba and share their plans. So I think that takes me to the end of my presentation, and there's some time left for questions if anybody has anything that they wanted to ask or clarification on anything. Yes?
It's very, very intriguing. I have to say I'll talk a bit about big picture issues in terms of trying to facilitate someone like yourself in the classroom. I think the big push in terms of Web 2 development in the context of trying to get your website up and running is happening in Ontario in the context of what we're doing, utilizing a product called Desire to Learn and creating what are classified as knowledge centers. Post-secondary have been doing this for a while, but the question I don't think it's on. Right? Yeah, it is. Is it on? It's just for do I sound good? Are we recording? So I guess my question to you is that if you were to, let's say, not necessarily have to sit with with someone to develop something that's a standalone website of your own, I wonder whether you would be embracing, let's say, sitting down with Merland, doing something provincial, trying to have our Department of Education actually come to the table and get off the Black Masters. I know your frustration in that regard, but doing something in isolation and trying to get grassroots teachers to buy in and so on and so forth. The success that we've had in Manitoba is with the leadership of all the school divisions coming together and utilizing Merland. And I really believe, and I'll champion your initiative because I see the resources that you're bringing to bear in terms of your own experience in the classroom. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you. I actually contacted the Department of Education last summer to pitch this idea to them, and I was told we're in the works to do the same thing. We're already doing the same thing. And I said, oh, that's wonderful. I'm so excited for it to come out. And then they sent me the link to Maple and asked me for feedback, and I had a lot of things to say because it's not the same thing at all. It is a collaboration forum. In terms of looking for unit and lesson plans, it takes you to search engines online. There's no internal database. There's no library of unit plans that Manitoba teachers have created. So that doesn't exist. So I was quite disappointed actually when I first logged into Maple, because I was expecting it to be everything I had hoped for and everything I had wanted this to be, and it wasn't. So I'm not sure if the Department of Education is, they may not be as interested in this because they do believe that they've already created this. I wish they haven't. So I don't know. I'm hoping that eventually Maple will become something like this, but it's currently not there. And my concern is that teachers who are technologically savvy don't have the patience to wait for things to be uploaded. They're going to try a site once. If it doesn't work for them, they're not coming back. So that is a concern with Maple, and concerns that I've heard from other teachers. They've said that there's no units there, there's no lesson plans there, there's nothing for me to do. So I'm done with them. I'm going to go on to Pinterest. I'm going to keep going on Pinterest. I'm going to keep going on Teachers Pay Teachers, and keep trying to find information there, because there's nothing there. So there still is nothing Manitoba-based for Manitoba teachers.
I totally agree with you. But just as a sidebar, we don't really need. Gerald's not here, so I feel he doesn't get to rebut. So I'm not trying to criticize, but I think if we brought this forward to Merland, it's possible that your initiative would be supported by a group of the school divisions there. I'm certainly sure that the metro school divisions, we meet regularly, that there would be interest. What I'm flagging is I really don't want to see us do this in isolation.
Mm-hmm.
Individual school divisions, we have teachers that are doing this now, doing the same thing you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from a big picture point of view, we need to support you and not create something that, let's say, is going to be in isolation in your division, and then someone says, oh, I kind of like what you're doing, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's a guy at Grant Park High School doing the same thing, but I prefer his stuff, and we've done that at our school already. So the beauty is that you're bringing it to the table. So I still feel that what you're offering is something that, let's say, should be looked at provincially.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, and I do believe it should be something that's province-wide, available for all teachers to use. The teachers that I've spoken to are very interested in this. They would really enjoy seeing this up and running. The problem with going to a site like Pinterest or Teachers Pay Teachers is that it's not Manitoba-based. It's not based on our curriculum, and they might be finding things that are close or similar to what we should be teaching, but it's not exact. And so if teachers are going onto those websites and finding information they think is close to what they should be teaching in curriculum, they may be using that as an alternative to what needs to be taught according to Manitoba curriculum. So again, if this was something Manitoba-wide, province-wide, it would be based on Manitoba curriculum, and then there wouldn't be that concern of teachers almost getting what they're supposed to have taught, and they would be teaching what is supposed to be taught. Did anyone else have any questions? Yes.
There are people elsewhere listening, right? Thank you for your wonderful information. And I just, you've got us on the edge of something really important here. And unfortunately, when you got to this teacher share part, you kind of embedded something that pulls it all back. And what's in here is your daily schedule
Mm-hmm.
of subjects. And I'm wondering how or what you've been thinking about in terms of letting your students take responsibility for their learning and doing things like project-based activities, which are math and language arts and social studies, and getting away from that daily schedule that you've created that is embedded in there.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the idea, I mean, you're revolutionizing our kids. We've got all kinds of resources. We've got all kinds of ideas. They've got all kinds of skills that they are developing. And with this kind of technology and with the kind of applications you've been showing us or talking about here, there's amazing things they can do.
Mm-hmm.
Write their own stories, write their own comic books. But once you plug it into, again, well, this is ELA and this is social studies and this is science class, well, wait a minute. You've just destroyed that by bringing all this other stuff here. And we have to perhaps take that next step in terms of letting our kids, it is possible, because I've done it, is give your kids the expectations and a schedule and the computer time and say, go to it.
Yeah, and this is just for me, my own planning. everything I do is project-based in my classroom. Everything I do is differentiated. My students have a say in every type of project that they create. So for example, if I have a social studies project like we just did, we were learning about history of Manitoba, so students have a choice. Do they want to make a movie about Manitoba? Do they want to create a board game? Do they want to make a travel show? A brochure, whatever type of information they want to do. They get to choose their own way of presenting. This software is just for my own planning. So the subjects, as they're laid out, are not stagnant. Everything is cross-curricular. Everything is ICT, math, ELA, art. It's all part of one lesson plan. Nothing is stagnant. The only reason that I have it separated like this is so that I can keep track of which outcomes I'm meeting in which areas. So my day planner, my schedule that's given to me from my administration has those sections in it. So based on the Department of Education's percentages for subjects, that is a schedule that we have to follow. So every day we need to have 100 minutes of English language arts. Every day we have to have 50 minutes of math. So in the day planners, it has to have that in there. So if someone from the division was to come and look at your day planner, you have to have that amount of time allocated. That doesn't mean that during math time, all I'm teaching is math. So we're doing math, we're doing art, we're doing science, we're doing ICT, we're doing all kinds of things within that time, but it has to be designated according to the percentages of time that need to be met by the Department of Education guidelines. So hope that answers your question. That's just the way that it's set up. It's not to say during this time you're only teaching this subject, you're only teaching that subject.
Fair enough. And it is revolutionary, because if we do get into what you're saying, the project base, yeah, we can cover off and say, yes, indeed, tell your superintendent, tell your principal. The kids are doing language arts all day. Mm-hmm. They're doing art, they're doing science, mm-hmm. they're doing this stuff. They're doing math all the time. If we have to designate it, then we're cramping our style. Mm-hmm. So.
Yep, I agree with you, definitely. But that's more just, that's the political side of it, to make sure we're meeting all of our outcomes every day. Yeah. So, yeah. But I definitely agree. Differentiation is the way to go, and student-centered learning is definitely what we do. There are some teachers at my school that have in their day planners a block of time set apart for inquiry. That's the multi-age classes, and that can be any subject in that inquiry time. So, if I could have my entire day planner just say inquiry, and we're teaching all the subjects all day long, that would be great. But that's not what my admin needs, and that they have to have something that shows that we're meeting those percentages.
Heather Duncan, Brandon University. I really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you. What I would like to pick your brain is, we have courses in integrating technology into the curriculum. How do you see methods courses being revamped so that is seamless and it's not an add-on?
Well, when I was sort of coming out of university, a lot of those online courses were starting to come out, and they were becoming more popular with students. So basically, to make it seamless, and I only have a few seconds left, but my short answer would be, just to have ongoing streaming like we're doing today, or to have online access to students all the time, so that they're able to tune in during class and when they get home. And I think that's a way to make technology seamless with in-person courses as well. I hope that answered your question.
That was a very short answer
Sorry.
to a big question. Thank you, Desiree.
Thank
On
you.
behalf of the group, I'd like to present you with this small token.
Thank you.
And demonstrating in a very short time the linkage of technology and student and teacher learning.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming.